the kill count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Train to Busan, the 2016 South Korean zombie movie. We've seen that the zombie subgenre began in 1968, but Train to Busan is proof that nearly 5 decades later, you can still make zombie movies that feel fresh and lively. Or, you know what I mean. Train to Busan follows a bunch of passengers on a bullet train who find themselves dealing with an outbreak of the living dead. The zombies here are fast and intense, which makes them that much more dangerous in the confined spaces of this passenger train. Sometimes described as 28 Days Later meets Snowpiercer, Train to Busan could have just been a rip-roaring Z adventure with a unique and interesting setting, but the movie ends up being much more than that. The incredible cast portrays a multitude of interesting characters who go through heartfelt emotional scenes that never come off as cheesy. There's also social commentary galore, with themes of parenthood, class division, trust in government, and sacrifice for the greater good. I don't know if Romero ever saw Train to Busan. He died just a year after its release, but if he did, I hope it pleased him. He had expressed concern that World War Z killed the zombie genre in 2013, but don't worry, George, it's still alive and kicking. Couple of notes before we begin. I pride myself on the kill counts research, but when it comes to foreign language films, it becomes more difficult for me. I'll probably miss plenty when it comes to cultural themes, as well as what the cast and crew might best be known for to a South Korean audience. And when it comes to pronunciation of these names and places, I'll do my best. I did consult with a Korean fan for help with that. Huge thanks to Daniel O. But in the end, any shortcomings there will be my fault. Also, I know I just did a stretch where I counted zombie deaths, but I'm gonna have to put that rule on pause when it comes to Busan and its sequel, Peninsula. Especially Peninsula. I am not looking forward to that count. The thing with the zombies in this universe is that I don't know exactly how they die. Most zombies, including Romero's, could only be killed by destruction of the brain, but that's not a universal rule in zombie media. In Zombieland, for instance, the infected could be killed by non-brain-based means. It's not clear where the Busan zombies stand. Most of the time, they're durable as fuck, like when they fall from a helicopter only to get right back up. Other times, whenever it's convenient for the plot, they'll go down with a single bullet. I'm not talking shit here. I know all about inconsistent rules. I'm just saying it doesn't work when it comes to kill counting. Now, don't worry, numberholics. I'll still be counting the many, many humans who die in these films. But even there, maybe cut me a little slack, okay? Alright, let's see if my best is good enough for all of you and get to the kills. The movie begins in a quarantine zone. Quarantined because its roadkill has a nasty habit of becoming road unkill. Love the effect of this deer becoming undead. It's a great use of CG. Very unsettling sight to start the movie with. Though you gotta admit, that's a cute zombie doll. Seok-woo is a fun manager who's so addicted to work he can barely feed himself properly, let alone find the time to be a proper father. You already got me a Wii as a gift, Dad. Quit trying to buy my love. God! It's his daughter Swan's birthday and she wants to visit her mom in Busan. So early the next morning, Seok-woo drives her to the train station. They don't know it yet, but the outbreak has already begun, judging by that burning building over there. That's funny. The skyscrapers usually aren't ablaze before noon. KTX 101 is a Busan-bound bullet train, and since it's where we'll be spending most of our time, let's briefly get to know the occupants. There's a little cappy guy, Conductor So-kyung. He's pretty cool. There's also a team of baseball boys who are headed to an away game and who are joined by their classmate Shin-hee, who signed on as their cheerleader, just so she could travel with her crush Jungkook.
야, 넌 내가 좋다고 하면 그냥 감사합니다 하면서 받아들이면 돼, 네 운명을.
I love his teammates chanting, "Accept her!"
받아줘! 받아줘!
Goobo gobble, goobo gobble. Jungkook is played by Chae Woo-sik, who would later play the son in the brilliant Parasite. Jin-hee is played by Soi, who had previously been a member of the girl group Wonder Girls. This seemed to cause great excitement among the other cast members.
그냥 시사회도 오겠다고 하고 제가 초대해서
운동을 쓰고 오나요?
Rounding out our side passengers right now is a pair of older women, Jongir and her elder sister Ingir, who has an aid to offer in these soon-to-be trying times. Seok-woo and Suan join all these and others on the KTX 101 as it prepares to depart. Before it leaves, a stowaway woman gets aboard unseen. Looks like she's running from a disruption in the train station, which Suan notices after the doors are locked and the train is in motion. I love that silent moment of surprise, and I'll go ahead and put the station worker on the count. It's gonna end up being a drop in the bucket for this one anyway. That unwell woman is not the train's only stowaway. There's also Gui Hua, a homeless guy who appears to be traumatized after seeing a bunch of people killed back in the train station. But I ain't seen him die, so, you know, nothing to count. Gui Hua's trauma earns him no sympathy from Yeon Suk, an executive of the company that owns this train.
너 공부 열심히 안 하면 나중에 좋아질 시험 된다.
나오세요.
우리 엄마가 그렇게 말하는 사람은 나쁜 사람이랬는데.
Haha, get fucked, Yeon Suk! In actuality, everybody about to get fucked, thanks to that stowaway woman who's now varicose and stumbly. And dead! She collapses, and after a train attendant finds her, she rises once more to do freaky zombie stuff with her neck. This rabid Zed attacks the attendant Minji, who gets as far as the train car with the would-be baseball stars before she succumbs to all that nomin on the neck. Good job, infected lady. You proud of yourself? I guess so. The train's patient Zero and her quickly reanimated first victim attack everyone else in the train car. And here's the deal. I'm gonna be casual with this count, okay? I'll go by attacks I actually witnessed taking place against non-zombie humans, which in this case gives us 4 kills to add to the count. Chaos ensues in the back of the train, and the scared staff and passengers begin running towards the front. One dude succumbs to his wounds while running and turns into a zombie as another attendant is tackled by his now infected co-worker. As she ravages him, 3 other people are killed in the background, and by time she's moved on to attack a young woman passenger, the male attendant is already a zombie. Damn, this infection works fast. Sogwoo sees this happen, so he grabs his daughter and flees. Hurry, man, this snoring cam zombie is leading a whole charge of Zeds who are just rolling through this train car. Reminder that I'm not counting the mere appearance of zombies. I know that logically, their presence implies a kill took place, but it's, you know, come on. Actively turning into a zombie while we watch though? That's a human dying, so I'll put it on the count. Right in the path of this zombie parade is burly Sung-hwa and his pregnant wife Sung-gyung. They realize something's wrong when they see a woman getting her neck bitten out, and though Sung-hwa isn't able to help her, he is able to hold his own against one of these zombies. Cause this man here, he's a badass, no cap. The other non-zombified passengers reach the front car, including Sok-woo and Suan. When that COO Yeon Suk says to close the doors behind them, Sok-woo complies, like the good middle management worker he is. Damn, dude, sliding that door shut on a pregnant lady? Well, Sang-hwa ain't about all that and gets himself and his wife into the car. They realize the zombies are only aggressive if they see them, so Sung-young paper-maches a screen over the glass door. It calms the Zeds down and gives us our first respite of the outbreak. Sang-hwa calls out Suk-woo as a dick, and we get the standard zombie movie argument over risking your life to save others.
사람이 뛰어오는데 코앞에서 문을 닫아? 돌았냐 이 새끼야?
그거 말 조심해요. 당신만 위험했던 거 아니니까.
이런 새끼가 다 있어.
Suk-woo gets a phone call from his mom Shushir, who says everyone around her is fighting. We hear her die and become rabid over the phone, and since we met her in an earlier scene, I'll put her on the count. What's that though? You hear a dull thud and a disappointed wonder what that might be. The train gets to its next station, but very wisely doesn't make a stop. Thankfully, it passes by slow enough for me to pick out and count 9 kills taking place there. People getting chomped on by these energetic zombies. A politician on the news responds to what he describes as riots breaking out in major cities. This zombie outbreak has happened during a time of political upheaval. Many early scenes mention growing protests on the news.
안 되긴 뭐가 안 되지? 나라 저렇게 뻑하면 대모지리고. 옛날 같으면 저런 것도 싹 다 잡아다가 그냥 정신 번쩍 차리고. 예, 그런 말 하면 못 써.
I don't know a ton about Korean history, but it sounds like Cheongir is referring to the Samcheong re-education camps built under military leader Chun Do-hwan's Fifth Republic in the 1980s. He was the last leader before South Korea's current democratic government and presided over the Gwangju massacre, where hundreds of protesters were killed by the police and army. Understanding that national history gives a lot more context and weight to the government's response in this movie.
시위에 따른 혼란으로 도심 일부가 일시적으로 마비되었고 국민의 안전 보장과 사태 확산 방지를 위해 최우선 조치를 취하고 있습니다.
Heavy themes to weave into your film, but as we've seen, zombies were founded on cultural commentary. They were also founded on memorable scenes like this one of zombies falling off a chopper and chasing after skateboarders. Great stuff. No visible kills there, but other news footage does give us 2 extra kills to count, as the word zombies trends online and the government man says to trust them. Everything is gonna be just fine. During this downtime from zombie attacks, we're able to get rich character character moments, like when Suan gives her seat to Ingir, something her dad doesn't approve of.
지금 같은 때는 자기 자신이 제일 우선이야. 알았어?
Seok-woo's selfish mentality probably stems from his career at a hedge fund, which Sang-hwa learns from Seok-woo's daughter, Suan.
개미할게, 개미할게.
윤상아, 너 애 앞에서 못하는 소리가 없어 진짜.
괜찮아요. 다들 그렇게 다 생각하시니까.
Such a good scene between these characters. Suan Kim is adorable as young Suan, and the other actors are very natural and likable.
이거 아저씨가 만든 거야? 맞잖아. 아니야?
Sang-hwa, a crowd favorite, was played by Ma Dong-seok in a breakthrough performance for his career. In fact, he's about to be getting that Marvel money when he plays Gilgamesh in the upcoming Eternals. His wife Sung-young is played by Chung Yoo-mi, who's won all sorts of acting awards like Blue Dragons and Grand Bells. This is the second of 3 films where Chung Yoo-mi co-stars alongside Kong Yoo, who plays the lead role of Seok-woo here. Their first film together, Silenced, was such a big deal that it led to federal legislation to help minor victims of sex crimes. Kong Yoo himself is also very prolific, especially on K-dramas like Coffee Prince and has the title role in Guardian, the Lonely and Great God. The train conductor announces they'll be making a stop at Daejeon, where a military unit is waiting to escort them to safety. Through his rich person contacts, Seok-woo learns they'll be quarantined when they arrive, and arranges an alternate pickup so he and Suan can avoid it. The train pulls into Daejeon Station, where things are too quiet for comfort. I always love scenes where people are alone in public places that are normally bustling with activity, whether it's the Langoliers miniseries or the opening of 28 Days Later, a film that popularized the fast zombies that this movie heightened and evolved. Through his own rich guy contacts, Young-suk has also learned that this place is quarantined, so he tries to get the conductor to take him to Busan, which is still open.
아니 그게 진짜라면 사람들을 데리고 가야죠. 누굴 데리고? 일단 나가 봅시다.
Haha, get fucked, Young-suk! During the evacuation, Seok-woo breaks off with Suan to avoid quarantine. Like the conductor, Suan wants to tell everyone else as well, and when Seok-woo tries to get all survival of the fittest again, his daughter drops a truth bomb.
아빠는 자기밖에 몰라. 그러니까 엄마도 떠는 거잖아요.
The other passengers discover that their military saviors have become zombified. The Daejeon disaster begins with a stampede up the stairs, during which 6 people fall to zombie attacks that I can visibly verify and count. Our 7th victim right now comes from the last remaining soldier who gets tackled and eaten right in front of Seok-woo's eyes. Seok-woo runs back towards his daughter, who was only saved from a zombie attack by Sang-hwa's last-minute intervention. She's then separated from her father when Sung-young grabs her hand and runs back towards the train. As they flee, chaos fills the terminal, and I'll count, I don't know, man, 12 kills right now, I guess? It's hard to tell because of continuity issues with the background attacks, and I can't lie, counting background bodies ain't why I love this movie. I'll do it, because it's my job, but I'm way more into the political and character stuff here. Like how the selfish Seok-woo only avoids going on the count because of help from the supposedly lesser homeless Gui-hwa, and the working class Sang-hwa, who holds the door open for him despite not getting the same courtesy earlier. A group of 6 random doofuses unwisely open the back train car and get devoured by the zombies that pour out of it. Good job, folks. The survivors begin loading back onto the front cars, which takes quite a while, much to the frustration of Young-suk. Can't take too long, y'all. These zombies are breaking through the windows to get at ya. This rainfall of Zeds causes a split in the survivors, and a small group gets separated and stuck in a back train car. Though Shin-hee wants to wait for her friends to return, Young-suk convinces an attendant named Ki-chol to tell the conductor to depart the station. That means the train is leaving the baseball lads and the 2 male leads behind. They give up trying to hold back this tidal wave of Zeds, and as they run to catch the departing train, 2 of the baseball boys are tackled and killed. Oh man, that is gonna be one athletic zombie right there. Although honestly, everyone in this film is athletic. Watch as Jungkook and Seok-woo jump aboard this moving train. Sang-hwa does as well, but only after grabbing a police baton and shield. They prove that it was worth it right the fuck away. I know most zombie movies are physically demanding for their cast and crew, but with Train to Busan's super high velocity Zeds, these shoots seemed especially intense. Hell, in this scene, it looks like Ma Dong-seok tripped and nearly fell into the train. He definitely busted up his hand during the fall. But it seems like everyone was on board for the physicality and acknowledged its difficulties while keeping things light.
아까 서구 형은 좀 지금 2배 정도. 네.
아니 지금처럼.
I had to credit that on-set morale to director Yeon Sung-ho, who made Train to Busan as his live-action feature film debut after previously writing and directing a couple of animated films. One of his animated features was Seoul Station, which ended up being a prequel to Train to Busan and shows what happened the night before. I'm not scheduled to cover Seoul Station right now, but maybe I should sometime. Animated films are films too, you know? I like that Yeon Sung-ho seemed to respect the work everyone else was putting into his movie.
앞으로 뭐 남은 작업 뭐 열심히 잘 해서 고생해 주신 스태프분들한테 누가 미치지 않는 작품 만들도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
No wonder his cast endured and laughed through trips, falls, and sometimes explosive special effects.
괜찮아요? 괜찮아? 많이 운것 같아. 얼굴 부었어 지금.
The train's now on a non-stop trip to Busan with 3 separated groups of survivors. Most are in the front car with Young-suk and Ki-chol. The bust-em-up boys are trapped in car number 9, and some of the most vulnerable are stuck in the back, with zombies trying to get them through a bathroom door. Sung-kyung calls Sang-hwa and tells them they're in car 13, 4 cars away from their present location of car 9. An unspoken agreement settles between Seok-woo, Sang-hwa, and Yongguk to endure these cars full of zombies and go on a rescue mission. The first car, number 10, is tough but doable, especially with the slab of man that is Sang-hwa leading the charge. It was funny to find out that Ma Dong-suk had been Gong-yu's personal trainer prior to this film. His physicality is enhanced by the way these action scenes were shot by Sung-ho and his cinematographer Lee Hyung-duk. Even though it all takes place on a train, the action never feels claustrophobic or cramped. Their setup for shooting the train scenes looks extensive and awesome. The interior train set was surrounded by green screens and scrolling projection walls, with dolly tracks all over the place and removable sides to get long tracking shots. Brilliant. They fight their way into car 11, which is full of Yongguk's undead former teammates. Rough, kid. When the train enters a tunnel, the zombies stop attacking and instead just sniff around. We knew this movie's zombies function mostly via sight, but now we learn they're basically blind in the dark and can easily be distracted through sounds. Another tunnel and a ringing phone gets the guys through car number 12, allowing them to briefly see their loved ones before the train emerges into light again, scaring the survivors into separate bathrooms. There, the boys bond, and Sang-hwa buries the hatchet with Seok-woo.
아빠들은 원래 맨날 욕먹고 인정 못 받고 그래도 뭐 희생하고 사는 거지 뭐. 그래?
Yongguk calls Shin-hee, who's in the front car, and tells her that their rescue mission was a success. He says they're going to make their way forward and join the others now, but COO Young-suk doesn't like that idea.
감염 안 된 거 확실해?
가면 안 된 거 확실하냐고!
He tells Shin-hee her friends aren't welcome in the front, and gets everyone else in the car to silently side with him. Except maybe Chong-year. She's got a sister back there. By the darkness of another tunnel, the survivors in the back make their move. They use the luggage racks to sneak past the crowded train cars, and with the help of a noise distraction, they manage to get by. Seok-woo learns to look out for other people when he helps the troubled Kui-hwa, and that's nice. But when they reach the front car, they find that they've been locked out, and that's not nice. Young-suk has used his powerful status to take control of the remaining passengers. Some of them seem troubled, but they're all being complicit, especially Ki-chul, who keeps Shin-hee from helping the folks in the back. Yongguk bats away at the door in front of them, while Sang-hwa tries to keep the one behind them shut. One zombie gets their head through and manages to sneak up and bite Sang-hwa on the hand. Sung-kyung sees it happen and knows what it means, and since Sang-hwa knows as well, he asks Seok-woo to help get his wife out of there. It's all about sacrifice, after all. The last thing he tells his wife is the name he wants for their unborn child, causing a very emotional moment as the zombies break through. Sang-hwa puts up a hell of a fight, even using one zombie as a barricade against the others, but the virus eventually overpowers him, and he becomes one of them while he's overrun. The front car has been trying to keep the others out, but with Seok-woo's help, the back and forth finally ends. Most of the back car survivors make it through to safety, but In-gear is just a bit too slow. As her sister watches, the zombies catch up to her and take her down. Seok-woo assaults Young-suk for keeping them locked out, and in a cowardice act of defense, Young-suk accuses him of being infected. He and Ki-chul lead the nameless remaining passengers until they're shouting at the newcomers to quarantine themselves away. In director Young Sung-ho's words, selfishness has spread like a virus here. Shin-hee elects to stick with Yong-guk as the back car survivors are segregated and locked away from the others. Sung-gir curses her zombie sister for being helpful to others and getting herself killed, even though, honestly, I think Ingir's death looked pretty avoidable and needless to me. After a look of disgust at the people who have turned on their fellow human beings, Sung-gir heads to the door, says thanks to her sister, and opens it to welcome death inside. For this occasion, I will count kills based on the humans we saw alive. The survivors in this car were finite enough to count and had actively participated in the plot by turning their backs on the protagonists. That's why I'm fine counting all 18 of their deaths now, including Sung-gir, even if I can't confidently say I see each and every one of them in this dope-ass tracking shot. The train continues on course as the few remaining survivors hold hands and wish happy birthdays. Sok-woo calls a co-worker to ensure that Busan is safe, and he learns that the zombie outbreak started at a biotech plant associated with his business. That's right, Sok-woo, you just tried to metaphorically wash your hands of this blood. You can't! The train conductor drives the train through the entrance to a Disneyland dark ride to find some blockage on their track here at East Daegu Station. He'll have to get another train on a clean track to continue, and he relays his plan on the intercom to whichever passengers are still alive, which, thanks to a bathroom, includes Yong-suk and Ki-chul.
부디 생존자분들은 안전하게 이동해 주시기 바랍니다. 행운을 빕니다.
I really enjoy the train captain. He's an undersung hero of the film. As he makes his way to another train, the survivors decide to make their transfer too. Maybe not to that train though, huh? Little cramped. Still stuck inside that bathroom, Yong-suk does the most Yong-suk thing possible and tosses his toady Ki-chul to the zombies to get away. Oh my god, Yong-suk, you suck! The others are still trying to find their way around zombie trains when a flaming zombie train comes hurtling towards the station. There's a big bombastic explosion that really messes things up for everyone, separating Yong-guk and Shin-hee away from the others. While they're trying to make their way through train cars, Yong-suk runs in and throws Shin-hee into the mouth of a zombie. Damn, that guy's just on a marathon of bastardom. As he gets away, Yong-guk stays with the dying Shin-hee, and I'll count both of them together as she dies in his arms, comes back, and chows down on his neck. By now, the captain has got a new train running on a clean track, but Yong-suk continues his destructive path of selfishness when he gets the captain killed by the zombies chasing him too. Damn, that dude was your ride, son! The last 4 non-bastard survivors are stuck between 2 train cars full of zombies, which is not a situation you generally want to be in. As the Zeds break through the glass, we get another noble sacrifice, as Kui-hwa holds the zombies back to give the other 3 time to escape. Just in time too, because that place just got filled with the undead. Suk-woo, Swan, and Sung-young run towards the departing train in the film's big climactic action shots. We've mostly been on a close quarters train and inside train stations, but now we're seeing these zombie hordes running outside with flying overhead shots. I still don't love when they become digital looking waves of bodies, but I do love the chain of zombies that holds on to the end of the train after the survivors get aboard. The zombie tail grows so long it slows the train down, and it also makes it easier for the ticketless zombies to board. Suk-woo manages to fight them off, so for as awesome as it looked, the zombie tail wasn't all that dangerous, unlike who the survivors find on board this train, a zombie, or zombifying, bastard Yong-suk. Not sure when he got bit, but I take pleasure in putting him on the count. Unfortunately, this bastard's a bastard in his own life too, and he ruthlessly attacks Suk-woo. Sung-young tries to help, but Suk-woo's hand still gets bit. He's able to use a chain to hurdle the bastard zombie from the train, but he knows his goose is cooked thanks to this zombie bite. Swan knows it too. Oh man, this shit is so sad! Suk-woo quickly instructs Swan and Sung-young how to use the train's brake when they get to Busan, then cries with his daughter as she begs him not to leave. Neither say I love you to each other though. Is that a cultural thing or just a movie thing? Let me know. He closes her off in the cabin for her safety and runs to the back of the train, all the while crying at the sacrifice he has to make. To get the audience crying too, we see glimpses of when Swan was born. These are the last thoughts Suk-woo has as he succumbs to the zombie virus, and it's enough to make him smile even as his humanity is erased. Holy shit, man. Between those flashbacks and the score, this scene is devastating. Oh my God, I'm with you, Swan. My heart! The train continues towards Busan until it reaches a roadblock in front of a tunnel, which has, I think, 46 bodies strewn about. At least that's how many editor Josh counted for me after I gave up. He said it was difficult because some bodies just disappear between the various shots and angles, but he did his best, and I thank him for that. So 46 it is. Sung-kyung and Swan make their way. Oh, come on! What is that? 39 bodies in the river there? Fuck! Quit floating around. Josh is trying to count you. Anyway, Sung-kyung and Swan pass all the bodies and walk into a tunnel. On the other side, a blockade has been enacted, and the soldiers there are given instructions to shoot, just in case the figures walking towards them are infected. They're about to Night of the Living Dead this shit when Swan's voice rings out singing Aloha Oi. She had said earlier that she learned this song for her papa, and the movie ends with it saving her life.
다시 만날 때까지.
How many people died in this rollicking ride of a zombie movie? Well, I'll tell you, since this is my stop. Numbers, here I come. We counted 166 kills and bodies in Train to Busan. Zombie movies, right? The gender breakdown's not all that interesting, because most of the bodies were too blurry in the background to tell, but with a runtime of 118 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 42.65 seconds. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Sanghua. Almost every kill in this movie is a variant on biting or turning into a zombie, so I'll give the award to the strong boy who held zombies off as he died. No machete for lamest kill? Well, pick up the phone, because it's Granny Chushir, whose death was heard but unseen. And coolest corpse for my favorite zombie will go to the Stowaway Woman because of the excellent physical performance by actor Shin Eun-kyung. She's the first zombie we see fully in action, and boy does she set the bar high. And that's it. Train to Busan came out in 2016 and will be followed by a standalone sequel called Peninsula. I'll look at that next week, but until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this week's Kill Count. Sorry that we didn't have time to make a trailer for next week's episode, but you know that it's Peninsula, so check it out before the Kill Count. I want to thank some patrons like Julia Gaines, David Tobin, Felix Navarrete, Brian Holbrooks, Gabrielle Warren, and Lakin Lindsay. Just a reminder that the Sunday Kill Counts were for May only. We're back to one Kill Count a week, so me and my editors can sleep. There will be the live stream hangout though in 2 days on Sunday, so tune in at noon Pacific for that. Thanks everyone. Be good people.